RSVP crew, brides, future brides. We've got a special video that we're doing for you today. We have my girl Stephany Hennings, who is a travel agent. Her name of her company is Travel Essence, all the way on the West Coast. Hey, Steph!
Hello!
So, funny thing is, like, we didn't know we were going to be matching today. So, we literally just popped on the call and we're like, match. Total perfect vibe. So, it's going to be a good session. So we're super excited that Stephany decided to hop on and do this. Like, we were just talking this week and I was like, why haven't we done this yet? So here we are. And now is kind of like a good time because we've got vaccinations rolling out. We've got people still getting married in 21. I'm like, personally, our calendar is like super, super slammed. So, we know people are still going to travel out of the country for their honeymoon and everything else. So we thought this would be a really good, informative session. I've known Stephany for, how long have we known each other, Stephany?
At least 10 years, probably.
At least 10. Yeah. At least 10 years. We've known each other for a while. So Stephany's handled a lot of trips and stuff for us. So we're excited. So without further ado, here is Stephany, and she's going to talk about her company, Travel Essence, and we're just going to have some dialogue about who, what, when, where, why, and everything else. So, Stephany, floor is yours.
All right, cool. So, Travel Essence, that's me. And I started business in 2003. I wasn't Travel Essence at the time, so I changed business names, but it's Travel Essence now. And I've been doing it basically all my life. That's what I've been doing. And so I now specialize in all-inclusive vacations and river cruises. And I am super excited to be able to offer those things. It took me a while to figure out like what I wanted to specialize in. And so, so I'm excited about that. And I also specialize specifically with couples. So romance travel, and we have 4 kids. So for me, it's very important for couples to pull away from not just the kids, but just it gets
chaos of life, man.
Yeah, like life happens, and before you know it, like as a couple, if you don't take that time to connect with each other, then you lose connection.
Yeah.
So I'm all about couples taking that time to rekindle, reconnect. And I am happy to be a part of that reconnection. So that's what I do.
Stephany is like amazing. Like, she's done some girl trips for us. Like, and she's extremely patient with me and my group of friends, because we're very needy and we have a lot of demands, and like Stephany handles it with just grace and just I know I'm getting on her nerves, but she's like, no problem, Jackie. And I'm thinking that she's probably like, Jackie.
No, so honestly, like, it kind of makes me thrive. Like, it makes me feel like that's what I'm sorry, I have a kid that's baking Christmas.
You'll probably hear my dog barking in a little bit.
Okay. But yeah, it makes me feel like that's what I'm here for, you know? So one of the reasons, I don't know if you're going to ask me that question, but I'll just go ahead and answer the question, is about why use a travel agent. Do people even use travel agents anymore? And that is one of the things that I am here for, is to make life easier for you, you know, because when you get on the internet, it's like, so many options to choose from. And if you don't know what you're doing, then you'll choose something that's not a good fit for you.
Yeah, you'll choose like a 1-star hotel overseas and
get there and be like, where am I?
Where am I? Yeah. Did who book this? Yeah.
Right. So that's what a travel agent does. Travel agents do exist, and the benefit of using them is to save you time.
Yes.
Save you the headache and hassle of searching through the internet and figuring out what's a good fit for you.
Right.
Also, I just had somebody come back from Mexico. They were in Cancun for a week.
Okay.
And on their very last day, hadn't heard from them, you know. So anytime I don't hear from people while they're on vacation, it's good, right?
Okay.
Their very last day, they WhatsApp me and they're like, I need your help. My husband is vomiting and we can't travel today. So it was good for me. Like, it's not a bother for me. It's like, that's what I'm here for. That's my job, is to help you whenever you're traveling and before you travel.
Mm-hmm. You know what? I'm glad you said that, because people don't think about potential emergencies or things that can happen when they're on vacation, because in our mind we think, oh, we're on vacation, everything is going to go smooth and perfectly, and nobody's going to get food poisoning, and everything's going to be grand, and nobody's going to fall and get too inebriated and break their ankle. Like, everything's just going to be great. We have this like naive thing in our head, like we don't really think about that.
You don't.
So yeah, I'm glad you pointed that out. See, that's another benefit to having a travel agent, is because say a crisis happens or an emergency, they can kind of help guide or walk you through like what you should do and whatever. So yeah, That's good. That's good. Cool beans. Okay, so what are the current travel requirements, guidelines for people who are traveling outside of the U.S.?
So it changes by the month, maybe even by the week. Like next week, this won't be valid.
Yeah.
But right now it varies by destination, right? So for example, for Jamaica, you have to have a negative COVID test before you go. And then they're requiring you to fill out an application, upload the application, you have to get approval. Okay. And then after you get approval, you upload your negative COVID test.
Wow.
There's a
I'm sitting here taking notes while you're talking, so. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so there's writing down. That's what I'm doing, sitting here writing notes, so I know for myself. Okay.
So there's a timeline involved with all of that, but like I said, it's changing. In August, I had people go, and you can only do it you can only do the form. Gosh, I don't remember what it is, but it was only a few days before travel.
Okay. I was going to ask, like, when do you have to submit that and how long?
Yeah, it was like, I don't know if it was 14 days or 7 days. Could have been 5 days. I don't remember. Okay. But so they uploaded, they had just come out with this, like they were supposed to leave on a Monday and the rule happened on Friday. Yeah, so they got approval Sunday night.
Sheesh.
So it was like not fun. But then I had other clients that went to Jamaica and they immediately got a response. Okay. So because it was just being implemented in August, you know, it was like them trying to work out all the kinks.
Right.
And so now I think they've gotten it squared away. It's much easier. Yeah.
Is there any other countries that you know that are requiring like a pre-screen before?
I don't know of any others that are requiring that particular form. Now, most of them are, or not most, but a lot of them are requiring you to do a negative COVID test. But the airlines are also making that an option too, that you can take a test before you go.
Okay.
And I think they're like $125, something around there. And another thing that I think that is like pretty much across the board, all the destinations are different, the rules are different, but one thing that is across the board is that you have to wear a mask before you get on an airplane. Like during your airplane experience, you have to have on a mask.
Okay.
It seems like there's always that one person that's like, I'm not going to wear a mask. And it's like,
you're getting on this plane today, you are.
You got to wear a mask. Yeah. So that's one thing that I kind of reiterate with people, like, just be prepared. You have to wear a mask. That is if required. You don't want to wear one, that's fine. But just know that you need to stay home.
You don't need to be going nowhere but to your living room. How about that?
Yeah.
That's funny. So is there any particular destinations that are requiring like people to quarantine upon arrival? Like, I think I've read something about in the news, like Hawaii was requiring people to quarantine for X amount of days upon their arrival. Is that still a thing that's going on and that's important, or is that kind of being phased out a little bit?
I think it's being phased out, but that's the thing. Like, I feel like as soon as rules are implemented, like they're also changing.
Yeah.
So it's so hard to like say one way or the other.
Right.
So my best advice is before you book a trip, check to see what the requirements are and if you're okay with it. And then be prepared for whatever changes might happen.
Right.
Prior to you getting ready.
Because it's probably, yeah.
Absolutely. So I stopped booking everything for, through the end of this year.
Okay.
Because it was so unpredictable and I didn't know like what the rules were going to be. It was too stressful.
Yeah.
So I'll start back up in March, like with travel.
Okay.
All cruise lines have canceled through February at this point.
Wow. I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. So they have to come up with, certain guidelines and health safety requirements. So once they are able to do that, then they can travel again.
Does that mean they're going to do with it all you can eat buffet? I call it a buffet. Y'all know I can't stand a buffet. I can't stand a buffet. Ugh. But anyway,
so
that's what you know about the cruises because I didn't know that.
Yeah, I don't know if. I mean, there are people who are waiting to go back on cruises.
Oh, I know. I got a very good friend of mine, and she's like, got all these free cruises because last time we cruised, she just
she had fun. She had fun.
And so they like gave her all these free cruises, and so she's like, I'm going here, I'm going here, I'm going here. And I'm like, you need to sit still. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't discourage anybody from going. If you feel comfortable, then I'll book it for you. But
by the way, we will have Stephany's information and all of our links so that you can use her services, call her, email her with any questions you may have. She's a travel guru. Okay, so what recommendations do you have for couples that are getting married in 2021, whether it be if they're traveling because I know a lot of couples are saying we're just not going to travel outside the U.S. We're just going to do honeymoon in the U.S.
Yeah.
And so even with that, I still say use a travel agent, y'all. Like, legit, just still even use a travel agent. So what recommendations do you have for couples who are getting married in 2021, whether they're getting married stateside or want to do a destination or where they want the honeymoon? What advice or tips could you give those couples?
Okay, so there's this really nice area in Southern California. Okay. It's called Temecula. Have you heard of it?
I want to say I have.
Okay. I had not heard of it until we moved here.
Okay.
And so it's funny because for the longest, I knew that there was this wine country, but I'm like, where it's at? Like I see all these buildings, I don't know where it's at. So I finally, right. So I finally found it, and it's so cute. It's not like in the busy like LA. It's not crowded. It's so easy to get to.
Okay, let me ask you this: is it like Joshua Tree?
Kind of like out in the
Springs, kind of. Just the vibe. I'm just trying to figure out like what the vibe.
Maybe. Okay. Maybe small town. It's like a small town feel. But they have like all sorts of things you can do. You can go for a hot air balloon ride, like the sunset or the sunrise. Okay. You can do horseback riding through the vineyards. Oh. You can do, it's so cute. You can do the cable cars and do wine tasting. We stayed there's on my YouTube channel, I have a tour of the New Inn. It's called the New Inn.
Okay.
And they have, I think it's five little villas. And you can have your room set up with roses. You can have a private chef come in and do dinner for you. You can have a massage in your room. So you could literally go.
The options are endless.
Yeah, if you wanted to go and just stay in your room, like I'm especially thinking about people who are hesitant about travel, right? Yeah, if they're hesitant about travel, then they could totally go and not have to do like a bunch of mixing and mingling. Mm-hmm. So they could have their vacation or honeymoon right there.
Right. Well, heck, I might want that for myself.
Yeah. It's also, I feel like it's also a good girl getaway too.
Okay.
Uh-huh. Okay. What else? Jamaica. Jamaica, because it's easy to get to, right? Like,
Yeah.
I just feel like it's been fairly easy to travel to. Sorry.
Okay, fine.
There's couples resorts is there. And I recommend couples resorts for, I think it's the perfect honeymoon resort.
Yeah.
There's 4.
Yeah.
There's 4 different ones. And it's just like the excursions are included. It's all inclusive. You know, it's like you can literally go and not have to spend another dime.
Yeah.
So,
nice. Yeah. So what are your top 3 places like in Mexico? If someone's like, I want to go to Mexico, what's your top 3 that you would suggest resorts that they would, what's your top 3?
In Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
I like the Hyatt Ziva. I like Secrets. Puerto Vallarta, I think, is a very not talked about destination. Like, you know, you hear about Cancun, right?
Right, but listen, I've been trying to get to Puerto Vallarta since the OC Housewives, and Vicky goes down there. Like, that's all I know. And I kept saying, it's like, Vicky goes there, she's got a condo there. I feel like I need to go there because I need to see what's popping. Like,
right. Marquee. It's the Marquee.
Okay.
So it's not Secrets anymore, but it's still the Marquee.
Okay.
So that's in Cabo. Gotcha. And then there's one in Cancun. It's called La Blanc.
Okay.
And that one is super nice. I think that's a very good honeymoon destination. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what do you think about Turks and Caicos? Like, what are your thoughts about Turks and Caicos? So I feel like I read something where they were just saying, come here and just work. If you have to, like, if you're working remotely, they're like, just come. Like, just come. You can work remotely from here. You know, I think their like requirements weren't as stringent as everybody else's when it came to travel. And I could be wrong.
You know what? I've done Turks and Caicos once for a honeymoon. It was years ago. Okay. So I honestly don't know. Like, I would have to do my research
on it. Yeah.
Yeah, to answer that question. It's a nice destination. I think it's great for honeymoons. I think any destination that is good, like, especially with COVID being here and just not knowing what's going to happen with it.
Yeah.
I think that I would recommend like any kind of like boutique resort.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And any resort
smaller, like, and there's not
a ton of people.
Yeah.
But then it goes back to knowing the traveler, right? Because some people are okay with that.
Yeah.
So if someone asks me what I recommended, that's what I would recommend.
Okay.
But then I have people that will come to me and they already know what they want.
Yeah.
So, or, you know, after listening to them talk, I'm like, okay, well, this is probably a good fit for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Even with cruises, like I love Royal Caribbean. They're my favorite cruise line. But as far as like moving forward, I am choosing to stay in the river cruise line.
Yeah, I've been seeing you post those videos. Like, I so want to do a river cruise, but those river cruises are like, what, 2 weeks, a week?
They're a week, yeah. But
after 4 days, I get like, I get like the 4-day itch. It doesn't matter where I'm at. If it's on the ship,
but you know,
if it's at a resort, after 4 days, I'm like, I feel completely unproductive. I got to do something. I don't know what it is.
I know what you're saying. I think that the difference though is that with the river cruise, you're always doing something. It's not like a ocean cruise where you're just kind of like relaxing and a vacation. I mean, it is a vacation, but it's more of a like, you're immersed in the culture.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
You're like, you can walk off. It's so easy. Like, you walk off the ship and you can walk into the city. You know, like, it's everything is easily accessible.
Yeah, it's not like you're docking at a big port and you're confined to the port that you're. Gotcha. Okay.
Right. Yeah. And then you can literally, on some of the river cruises, I don't know how active y'all are, but on some of them, you can literally literally ride a bicycle from one port to the next.
That's a lot.
Like the ship is fun.
I've seen people get scooters and bikes and everything else in other countries, and I have watched them wreck. I have literally watched them every time. I'm like, these people have no business on this bike, on this scooter, on this moped, on nothing. Something's going to happen. And literally every time, I'm like, I've watched them wipe out because I knew they had no business. Like, I know I have no business, so I won't be one of those. But yeah, thanks.
So here's the thing. Like, I want to think that I could do that.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm physically fit. Like,
well, you know, it's to me, I like if I have to walk and push it, that's one thing. But it's just people like when you go outside the US, driving is different.
well,
like the drivers are different, the honk 2 times and the pass on one-way streets or whatever. Okay,
y'all did the Europe thing. Did you do Amsterdam?
No.
They have like the most bicycles, right? Like I saw, I'm assuming it was a mom, and she had 4 kids. And I was like, oh, I wish I couldn't get my camera out fast enough to take the picture. It was like a minivan, but it was a bicycle. I was like, wow, that's amazing. Like that's their main form of transportation. So you're right. Like I don't know if I want to go from one port to the next on a bike, but I don't know. It's for the adventurous, right?
Yeah, that is. That's very adventurous for somebody else, probably not me, but yeah, that's very adventurous.
But having said that, it is small. Like it's like, 130 people or something. It depends on the ship, but super small. I thought, it might be a little intimidating because I'm kind of like, don't always want to talk to people, but it was a good experience. Most people are older.
Yeah.
And, they tell you their life story, and I'm here for it. I love that.
They give me all the tea.
Right. Now he said, what? Wow, that's amazing. How many houses do you have? Like, I just love that kind of stuff.
Like, you rich, okay?
Right.
Let me just get all the nuggets. That's so funny. No, I did say to Prince, like, I want to do a river cruise, but like, we got a young one, so it's like, what do we do with him?
Yeah.
But, he may just some of the grandparents have to step up and just sacrifice some time so that we can do river cruise. Because I feel like I could do that.
I think you could.
Like on a cruise ship, like I'm good, but like I'm one of those people that will literally sleep the entire trip because I get the best sleep of my life on a ship. I don't know if it's because I'm being rocked like a newborn baby with that water tossing to and fro, but I will literally sleep for 2 days if you let me. Like I'm asleep. So ask the girls on that last cruise we did the Bahamas. Like Jackie was like, go to bed, and they're like, the night's just starting. I was like, yeah, have fun. I'm going to sleep.
Yeah, I'm happy.
I'm happy sleeping. So, and I don't like a lot of people. Like and I recharge by being like solo. I'm one of those people, like I recharge being by myself. So if a lot of people on a cruise ship, like I get over it real quick, and I'm just like, ugh.
I realized on the last cruise we went on, I was like it's a whole. Most people are there to party, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's just not where I'm at,
right? So
it's like, oh, okay. And I, like you too, like y'all have already done a lot of the Caribbean tour.
Right.
So for me, I'm like, I think I'm done with that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm ready to like see a different part of the world. Yeah.
Because that last time I honestly stayed in the room a lot and just ordered room service.
I mean, because you knew what to do.
I mean, I was fine with it, but I was like, it was, and I was like, oh, I've done it like 3 or 4 times, but
right.
Because I wanted everybody to have a good time, but and then the pools just get too full, and it's like I don't want to get in a pool with 200 other people. It's just
no.
Yeah. So, but anyways, okay. Is there anything else that you can think of or share or advice or tips that you'd want to give to potential brides, or not even necessarily brides, just couples that are looking to travel next year?
I think that it is going to be, I mean, this kind of goes without saying, maybe, but I think that it's important for both parties, you know, the husband and the wife both to talk it over, to figure out like what they're looking for, because where one might be comfortable only traveling within the United States, and the other might say, well, I want to go here. Like, you need to come to an agreement first before, in order to start planning. I mean, I know that sounds simple, but it's very real, where one person can be on this page and the other person on another page. So just like come into an agreement with what you're wanting. Yeah. Also, like I said, doesn't have to be me, but find a travel agent, I think, to keep you on top of what the new requirements are. We talked about this the other day, but especially like with the vaccine coming, that might be a requirement to travel in certain places, or getting the test prior to travel. Like, it's so many rules that are getting ready to happen.
I'm gonna insert that.
I know. So it's like, it's so much that is changing right now. I think that it's going to be hard for, unless you're like on top of it in the travel industry, like if you just read the news all the time, it's going to be hard to stay up to date. So find a travel agent that you're comfortable with and that you trust, that can help you with those plans.
Yeah, I agree. So y'all, if y'all didn't get anything else from this video, just make sure you get these top 3, right? I'm going to say, if you're going to travel, get your travel agent so that they can navigate the ever-changing rules and the requirements that are going to happen and will continue to happen for probably the next year or so. You know, this may be the next thing for 2 years. I mean, to get on a plane, you might have to get a COVID test. To go to the outside the country you're entering to may require that and additional paperwork. So be mindful of that, and be fluid. I'm gonna use the word fluid, and be willing to change and be flexible, because things are going to be ever changing for the next year or two about travel. But I'm gonna tell you what, like she said, get your travel agent, because they're gonna help you out with that.
Another thing that I would add to your list is to get travel insurance.
Yes. Yeah.
Because so a lot of like the suppliers that I work with, a lot of them have changed. Like, deposits used to be lower, and sometimes like they're higher now, because I mean, you know,
I think that's across the board with a lot of industries, like even wedding industries, like a lot of people were taking larger deposits, and there was no language in the contract about deposits not being non-refundable and payment milestones and everything else. And a lot of people found themselves kind of just stuck holding a bag, an empty bag, because people are canceling or postponing, and there were payment milestones. So I think that's like one thing industry wide, like for everybody, like if anything COVID told you, like, you need to reevaluate your contract agreement. And if they're not locked up tight and sound, you need to lock them up tight and make sure they make sense. But travel insurance, absolutely,
and make sure you understand what you're getting. Again, you have a travel agent that can read that to you and make sure you understand. For me, a lot of the one of the main ones that I use is the cancel for any reason, and you cancel for any reason, like no questions asked, you know. So so that's something to consider, or at least to know that once you get to where you're going, if you get sick, you're going to be covered.
You've got that coverage.
Yeah.
See, never before did I ever purchase that travel insurance, but now I'm like, from now forward, I'm going to be purchasing travel insurance. Not necessarily because I don't think I'm going to cancel, but the place you may be going to is changing and everything else. And, you know, you just don't know. So it's very wise to go ahead and front that little extra coins and pay for that travel insurance, y'all. Don't, if you're going to travel, do it right.
And I mean, I always look at it like, let's just say I'm throwing out a number. Let's say you spend $2,000 on a trip. $1,000. Okay. And then the insurance is $100. So it's like, what's
pennies at that point.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
If you're gonna lose $100 because you wouldn't get that back if you had to cancel, right? But
Right.
you lose 100, but you're saving the money, you're getting your other money back, then it's worth it.
Worth it.
So
It's worth it. I agree. Well, thank you so much for agreeing to do this, and we'll probably have a couple more of these if you're willing.
I am.
Good. Over the next couple of months, as things are changing and people are getting a little bit more comfortable in flying and travel is happening. So thank you so much, Stephany. I appreciate you for joining us.
Thank you for asking me to come, and next time we do it, maybe we can be twins again.
We'll be twins. So you all will drop Stephany's information in our comment section, in our links, and you'll have links to our website and her email address and her contact information. So if you want to use her services, or if you just have a couple questions for her, we're going to make that information available for you. Sheisthebomb.com. So Stephany, thank you so much.
You're welcome.